Yay Networks.
Welcome to another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. I'm your host, Dr. Rady, and boy, do we have an episode for you. I am really lucky in that we're joined by a lovely patient of mine, Caitlin, all the way from Redondo Beach. Welcome, Caitlin.
Hi, well, thank you.
And today's topic is a very interesting one because at least once or twice a week, I have patients who are getting ready to have surgery. They book their surgery and they ask me naturally, hey, Dr. Raban, what can I do to prepare for surgery? And we're going to tell you because what Caitlin did and why we're having this episode is that she's a mom of three. She was in reasonably good to okay shape. And when we talked, we had this same conversation, which is, what do I need to do to prep for surgery? And she's actually one of the few patients who did what we discussed. So you're definitely going to want to tune in and catch this entire episode. So welcome to the show, Caitlin.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. All right, Caitlin, let's start with some background because people always need to know who we're talking to and what we're talking about. So Caitlin, how old are you?
I am 38.
38. And you're a mom of three beautiful children, right? 13, yes. 6, and 3?
Yep.
Awesome. And Caitlin, you're a whopping 5'3", right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you came to me, which was actually a year prior to your procedure, and I think that's really important to hear, you came to me and you and I were having a conversation, and the area that bothered you most was your abdomen, right?
Yes.
Right. You had a bunch of loose skin, some excess fat, and this kind of belly bulge that everyone refers to, which is eloquently diastasis recti, or muscle separation. And so you were a garden variety, straightforward mom who had her children, and at 5'3", 135 pounds, was not overweight, but yet somehow your abdomen still kind of didn't look great, right?
Right.
So then you and I chatted, and I'm sure that what I told you was a bit of a surprise, right? Because I assumed you expected to come in and be told from your homework that you need a tummy tuck, right? You need the excess. Right. And what did I tell you?
You told me that I could use a partial body lift, and I didn't know what to do with that information. Right.
Okay. So what the hell? My money-hungry, greedy plastic surgeon wants to do more than what the patient came in for. No. What it turned out was that when we talked, it turned out that during your pregnancies, you had gotten quite large. You were 180 pounds, right? At your max. Yeah. So, average patient gains 25, 35 pounds. You had gained well up above 50 pounds. And as a result of that change, you had more loose skin than the average patient who's a mom, because you then had this sort of weight loss component, which is I was very heavy and then I lost a lot of weight. And so the reason I suggested to you a partial body lift, which means what? Which means in addition to the incision going to the hip, it goes around behind the hip and towards the buttock. So it goes almost all the way around 360. And the reason I recommend that to you is because you had all the loose skin and all this redundancy and excess fat that was trapped there. And I was certain that at that current body shape, had we done just a tummy tuck, it would look like crap. You would have a dog ear. You'd have a lot of excess skin or redundancy on the sides. In other words, your diastasis would be fixed, no problem. Your abdomen in front would be tight, no problem. But the sides of your abdomen or your hips would not only not look good, they actually would look bad because now you have this sort of bulge effect, which is called dog ears. Yeah. So I go ahead and explain this to you, and you're obviously quite disappointed, right?
Yeah, my head was like spinning for a while. I was like reaching out to people who had experience with this, and I was like, were you told the same thing? I don't know what to expect. What do I do? So yeah, my head was spinning.
Right. And you had seen other people before you had spoken to me, or saw people afterwards? Where were you in that?
I had seen someone a year or two before, a few years before, between my second and third baby. So right. I knew wasn't ready at that time.
Okay, great. So I talked to you and I said to you, hey, my recommendations, and anyone who knows me knows that if I give a recommendation, it's the thing you need to do, right? I'm not going to recommend anything to you that is nah, not so great or whatever. I always want to give you the best shot at a home run. My recommendation is you need a partial body lift. And so when we left that conversation, remind me how we left it.
Well, you gave me some recommendations. You said don't lose any more weight, but these are the options that you can go with. If you change your body, we'll see what happens when you're ready.
Right.
And
so why did I tell you not to lose any more weight? That sounds so counterintuitive. What the hell? Wait a second.
Yeah. You said there would be extra skin, that it would just not look good.
Right. So here you are. That's interesting to hear. So wait. So the episode here today is, what do I do to prepare for surgery? And the answer is, it depends on how you present. There are individuals who come to a pre-op and they're overweight. They're 5'3" and weigh 155. That's overweight. Whether you carry it in your belly or your thighs or your hips is irrelevant. But for 5'3" at 155 is a little overweight. So that person, I would recommend to them to try to lose weight before surgery. But you came at 5'3" at 135 and you were not overweight by any means. And if you were to have lost more weight, you would have had more loose skin, which then would mean I'd have to cut off more skin. And instead of a partial body lift, you would need an entire body lift.
Right.
So the last thing I wanted you to do was to get skinnier, because if our goal was to try to do the least invasive of these surgeries, definitely don't need it. And you didn't need to lose any more weight. So I said, let's see where you go with your body. And lo and behold, what happened? You went away, and the next time, when did I operate on you?
March 28th this year.
A year later, right? March 28th this year, which was a year later than when I originally saw you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So why don't you tell the listening audience, what the hell did you do to your body in that 1 year? Because what did we end up doing?
So we did an extended tummy tuck, and repaired the diastasis and the hernia, and that was it.
We ended up doing a standard tummy tuck. Wait. I told you needed a body lift. Somehow you ended up coming back a year later, and I did a tummy tuck on you. And I didn't do that because that's what you wanted. I did that's because what you needed. And now how do you look?
Great.
Spectacular. You look fantastic. So the question, and everyone is just at the edge of their seats listening, is how the hell did you do that? What did you do to prepare during the year that took you from being a candidate needing an almost circumferential surgery to one whereby which you only needed a tummy tuck?
So what it comes down to is body recomposition. So basically I built muscle and continued to work out. I watched my nutrition. You could say I counted my calories, but it wasn't really about the calories. It was about the food I was putting in my body and the muscle that I was building.
So when you had your surgery, how much did you weigh?
136.
So you weighed exactly what you weighed the day I met you and I told you needed a partial body lift. You weighed the exact same amount a year later because you're still 5'3", yet somehow you needed a lesser surgery. And the reason is you got fit. Now listen carefully. That's the answer. I don't think people understand what recomposition means. It sounds too sexy. Yes. What happened is plain and simple. You got fit, not skinny, fit. So that was the key. The key is you built muscle mass. You went and you worked out, and you can only build muscle mass and you can only get fit if you eat well. You cannot get fit by working out.
That's true. You can work out until you're blue in the face. If you don't eat right, it's not going to matter.
You cannot, I want everyone to listen, you cannot get fit by working out. You can only get fit by eating right and working out. And so the reason why I said, oh my God, holy shit, you look incredible. And what did I say to you? I said, I need you on my podcast. The reason why I have asked you here today is because people constantly ask me, how do I get ready? What do I do to prepare? I have 3 months. I have 6 months. I have 9 months. What should I do? What should I do? What supplement should I start taking? And I always tell them to get in shape and get fit But I would say what? 1%, 2% actually do that in preparation. And so the reason why this is such a unique opportunity and a great story is because you actually did it. And what happened as a result of getting fit is that you required a much lesser surgery because your body consumed a lot of that skin by getting in shape and building muscle mass. You didn't just disappear and get skinny. You got muscular and fit, and you pulled in that excess skin that you had built around the love handle area. And as a result, when I saw you in pre-op, I was pleasantly surprised that you could not only you could get away with, but you only needed a tummy tuck, which means great news for you. So we're going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back, and I'm actually going to ask you, because I know everyone who's listening is like, great, that's wonderful. She's genetically blessed. Oh, she must have had a trainer. Oh, she has a nutritionist. Everyone is sitting at home thinking there's an excuse why you could do it and they can't.
No.
We're going to come back, and you're going to tell me exactly what the hell you did. I mean, verbatim, and then everyone's going to listen and realize there is no magic. There was nothing special, nothing that you have proprietary, nothing that you have that they don't. It's basically old-fashioned basics. So hang tight. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the second half of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. All right, so we're catching up with Caitlin, the super mom, who basically worked herself out into requiring a much lesser surgery. And Caitlin, what everyone is waiting for is your magic. What was the magic? So tell me what you did exactly. And by exactly, I mean, if I were calling you and I was like a mom and I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. What did you do? So tell me your day-to-day routine and what you did.
So I make sure that I work out just about every day. There's no excuse. It's like the first thing I do every single day.
So you have three kids. You have three kids. So then, so obviously, do you work?
I don't work right now.
Okay, so you have three kids, full-time kids, all of them under the age of 13. And you would get up every morning and work out 7 days a week, yes?
Not 7 days a week, but 5 to 6 days a week. You have to take a rest day. It's really important. Okay, so you would work out 5 days a week. You do it in the morning before the kids got up. You did it in between when they were in school. You did it. When did you squeeze? And let me ask you this first. How long did you work out in a given day? 10 minutes, 4 hours? What did you do on average? Anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes, depending on what I was doing.
Okay, so 30 to 90 minutes. So basically what that means is on average, you did an hour a day. Great. Yes. When did you do that hour when you have three kids, 3, 6, and 13, all on different schedules, every one of them needing you 24 seconds a day, 24 hours a day? When did you do it?
Well, when I first started, it was before they woke up. And more recently, it's after I drive them to school.
Okay, so basically what you did is you found an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That
I made time.
Right. You found it. Yeah. You found an hour and then you made it happen. So these are some of the key elements. You see me highlighting them for you if you're listening, because everyone has a shit ton of reasons why they can't. So you have 3 kids. You got to carve out an hour. So you carve out an hour. In your instance, it was before or after, etc. Then the next question is, what did you physically do?
So I change it up. It's not always the same thing. I lift weights, I run, I row, and there's usually a combination of all of those things. I could bike, but that's not my thing. I don't like to do that, but you could do that if you wanted to.
So question for you is, where did you do this? At home or you went to a gym?
So in the very beginning, what got me started was going to a group class, and I loved that. And they actually taught a lot about nutrition, and I took that, and this was before the pandemic. So it's stuff that I knew before all of that. And I took it with me, and I've been doing it in my garage. Okay.
So this is the key elements. I'm going to keep breaking it down. You know me, I'm going to keep dissecting it. You need an hour. You need to carve it out. It has to be yours. What you've stated is what everyone else states, which is you have to do a combination of cardio and weightlifting. You cannot get fit without lifting weights.
That's true.
Let me reiterate that. Here you are, all the women listening. Oh, but I don't want to get bulky. I don't want to be muscular. I don't want to look masculine. Never going to happen. You're never going to happen unless you take steroids. You must lift weights in addition to doing cardio. Otherwise, you will be flabby skinny. Muscle mass, building muscle in your quads, in your abs, in your shoulders, in your delts, in your back, in your inner thighs, all that muscle that you build, which will take twice as much effort than your husband and or boyfriend, is the key to creating the fit, tight, full body that you're looking for. The cardio is important because it's calorie burning, but without the mass building, you won't happen. Okay, so you mixed it up, which is what they call about muscle confusion. These are all things, I'm no personal trainer. How the hell do I know these things? Because these are the basics of all these goddamn programs. Every program you watch on TV late night and you're like, oh, I hate the way I look. And you're like, oh my God, Beachbody, oh, Tony Horton, blah, blah, blah. It's all called muscle confusion, which means after a period of time, your body gets used to whatever you're doing. So change it up. It's great for your body. It's also great for your mind. You don't get monotonous and bored. So that requires weightlifting, then maybe a little rowing, then maybe a little running, then maybe a little bit of rollerblading, maybe a little tennis, whatever, but mix it up. So the next question is, so you're doing this mixing it up thing, and we just made this huge statement that you need to eat right, you need to eat right, you need to eat right. So what are you eating? You have a chef that comes to your house and makes you this special food, and you know it's really expensive and you have to go to special markets to get it?
Nope. I'll make my own food. I rarely eat out. So I think that helps me. But I track what I eat. I eat a lot of protein. I eat a lot of lean meats.
What are those things? What are your proteins and what are your lean meats? I want specifics. People don't know any of this stuff. What is a lean meat?
Your lean meats are going to be like turkey and chicken.
Turkey and chicken. How about I love bacon, sizzling. It's protein.
It is protein, but it's mostly a fat.
So it's a fat protein and not a lean protein.
Healthy fats are going to be good for you too. So bacon, not so great, but in moderation, it's not going to hurt you too bad.
Yeah, but we're not talking about moderation here. We're talking people already live in moderation. That's the goddamn problem. We're talking about specifics. So the specifics are, if you work out, you need protein. Your body needs protein to build muscle. Muscle needs protein. Protein comes in different forms. Lean proteins, fish, chicken, turkey, even very, very lean red meat works fine.
Yes.
It's fatty proteins that are not ideal. Fatty proteins being what? Like shrimp, fatty red meat. Not all red meat is fatty. Bacon, sausage, all that garbage. So that's number one. You're going to need to, I'm sure that you had carbs, but you had specific type of carbs. What did you have?
So I stuck with like multigrain, like and like wheat bread, stuff like that. Lots of vegetables. You
weren't having a bunch of potato chips.
No.
You weren't having a bunch of quesadillas and green with all kinds of fried frijoles and chile relleno. No. So any of this information that Caitlin is sharing with you is not going to be it's not going to be earth shattering. It is the basic fundamentals of every goddamn nutritionist and every diet, Atkins, keto, blah, blah, blah. It's very basic. There are some basic food groups. If you eat them all balanced, you try not to cheat a lot, eat a bunch of crappy foods, and you work out, you're going to look amazing. So the thing about it is about preparation, meal prepping. You can't have 3 children, be running around, wait till you're starving at 2:30 and then be like, God, I'm so hungry, and then expect to eat healthy food. It's not going to happen. You're going to go to wherever the hell your kids are at. They're going to have chicken nuggets because they're screaming their heads off, and you're just going to eat whatever you're there, and you're going to move on because you're in a survival mode. You have to prepare to succeed. So I'm assuming this diet of yours didn't happen whimsically. You didn't just randomly get hungry and go in the refrigerator and then have this incredible, quinoa salad. You must have prepped for it, right?
I do a lot of prep, but after doing this being nutritionally healthy for a long time, I have it off the top of my head. So I always have egg whites and eggs in the fridge. I always have chicken. A lot of times we'll grill a few pounds of chicken. So we have grilled chicken in the fridge ready to eat, put on salads. Sometimes I go with lunch meat, but that's full of sodium. So I try to stay away from that for the most part. But lean turkey is still really good for you. And then, a lot of grilled chicken in the evenings with sweet potatoes, lots of vegetables, salads. It doesn't have to be a salad.
Sounds so boring.
It's not that boring. Honestly, if you just add the right seasonings and flavor, it makes you feel so much better that you won't want to go back to burgers and fries.
All right. So here you are. You come to see me. You get on this incredible diet and exercise kick. And what do you know? You still needed surgery.
Yeah.
Why is that? You should have been able to just magically make it all go away. Your 3 children, the loose skin, the separated muscles should have just vanished, right?
Wouldn't that be nice?
But that's not the case. And the case is that the purpose of this dialogue here today is not to tell you what to do in order not to have surgery. It's to tell you what to do in preparation for surgery.
Yes.
The answer is that by being in shape and looking your very best, when I do surgery, you look incredible because your base and foundation is outstanding. And so none of it is surprising or none of it is a secret and none of it is proprietary, meaning nobody else has access to it. And none of it requires money. It isn't about, I'm not rich enough or I don't have resources. I'm paycheck to paycheck. It's all about choices, planning and choices. Do I buy chicken breast or do I buy bacon? Do I buy quinoa or do I buy Uncle Ben's rice? Do I buy wheat or do I buy white bread? Do I go and sit on my sofa and watch some Netflix or do I get on a rower for 20 minutes? These are all choices. And the fact of the matter is that most people do not have the discipline. They just don't want it bad enough. That's all it is. There is nothing else there other than discipline. The key to all of this is getting enough momentum, getting over the hump that it becomes routine. Notice what Caitlin says. At the beginning, she meal prepped, and now it's just a way of life. In other words, she just has it down to a routine. And that's how it happens with all things. You're not going to love eating healthy at first because you don't know how to do it right. You're not going to like working out because you're going to be sore and tired. But eventually, if you stick to it and you wait it through, you're going to find that whatever it is that you're doing is now just the way you do it. It's just the new you. Now, question for you is your husband overweight?
No.
Is your husband in shape?
He is. He wasn't, but I think that watching me, he got inspired.
So what does that tell you? That tells you it's very difficult for an individual who lives in a home with another person to change their lifestyle while the other person is living a different lifestyle. Like
it is.
If your husband or your partner wants to eat, French fries and chicken nuggets, and you want to have lean protein and broccoli, that's twice as much work. You have to cook twice. Yeah. So what you really want is someone to get on board with you. So your family as a whole is living this lifestyle. So it's effortless because that's just the way we all live, as opposed to you being on an island by yourself, trying to get in shape while everyone around you is swimming around with sharks.
Yeah, that's hard. That's how it was at first. And it's always difficult when you have to make those choices for yourself when everybody else isn't making those choices and you're making multiple meals and you're the one that's leaving the living room to go work out and they're watching TV. But
so then the next question is, what is the motivation? What drives you? So you come and see me, you're 5'3", you weigh 135 pounds, so you're not overweight. You've had 3 kids, so you have a great excuse. And I can fix it by operating on you, and it just needs to be a longer, bigger surgery than maybe you wanted. Why not just go under the knife and call it a day? What motivated you to do all this crap and look this good? What drove you?
Well, what drove me was really, I want to be there and do things with my kids. I was sitting on my front step one day watching my oldest when she was younger, and she wanted me to play with her and run around, and it was too hard. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm young. I should be able to get up and run around with her. And me not wanting to because of how I feel and my weight, it wasn't a good enough excuse. So I made a change. And now I run around and I play with them. I pick them up. I just throw them in the air. I feel strong and I love that. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. So I keep it up because I want to feel like this as long as I can.
Okay. So the answer is something has to be important enough to drive you to do this for yourself. And many, 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 many times people do things for other people they love. They quit smoking for their life partners. They stop eating for their life partners. They do a lot of things for other people because they love other people. And that's the beauty of selflessness, is you won't do it for yourself, but you'll do it for someone else. And so what you need to do is, the moral of the story is, number one, find an inspiration. It's your child, it's your grandfather, it's whoever. Second, create a plan that has a potential for success. Actually plan it out, map it out. Map out, what am I going to do? How many times a day? From when to when? What am I going to eat? Where am I going to order it from? How am I going to get it ready? If you do not plan it, you will 1000% never get there. And then you have to stick to it for a long enough period of time that you can get over the inertia or the momentum of the initial, I don't like this is not feeling comfortable. And if you do that, those 3 key steps, you too can have a transformation and be what we refer to as be fit. And in some instances, you won't need surgery. In other instances, you'll just have a better outcome from surgery. But there's no question that that's critical in order to feel your best, which then ultimately, obviously, looking your best is helpful.
Yeah.
Caitlin, anything else that you would want to impart to people listening about the so-called, how do I get ready for surgery? Since you clearly had it down when you did yours.
I didn't do it alone. I definitely had help. I had friends. I looked for help. I found people who were able to point me in the right direction and give me nutritional advice. And even though I wasn't doing that this entire time, it was great in the beginning. So if you join a gym or you get a nutritionist, it's not forever. It's just to help you get on the right path. And then you just keep it going, because I found that it was really helpful for me.
Yeah, that's true. Having support always helps whenever you're trying to take on a new challenge. So that's a great piece of advice, whether that's in a group session or do it online, or whether or not you get someone else to join in on you. And we call that accountability. We like accountability because there's other people invested in this. And then you kind of feel like, well, shit, I gotta go.
Also, I've seen a lot of women who are upset because they think they can't work out because they have diastasis. And that's absolutely not true.
Oh, 100% not true.
If I had told myself that I couldn't work out, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And just, there's certain exercises that you might want to stay away from, but you can do so much and get in the shape that you want to get in to prepare for the surgery and not just write it off.
Yeah, so that makes a good point. So there's all this nonsense that's out there. I don't know where it comes from, and I don't know how it disseminated. Your diastasis was torn during massive growth of a baby inside your abdomen. That's how it happened. You doing a bunch of exercises and crunches, albeit you don't feel good doing them because it doesn't feel wonderful, albeit it kind of is uncomfortable because it hurts, is not worsening your DR. That's a lie that physical therapists tell you. Your DR isn't going to be one day like you're doing an exercise, you're like, oh shit, it was 6 centimeters, now it's 9 centimeters. It's a lie. That's never going to happen. Unless you have another baby inside your abdomen, your DR is your DR. So absolutely, there are exercises. You can do anything you want, and there are certain exercises that will be difficult to do because your DR is there. But it's not, there's no reason you can't exercise. And you're absolutely right, Caitlin, that a lot of people use that as a crutch to be like, oh, I can't because I got this DR. And, without getting the DR fixed, I can't get in shape. It's like this chicken or the egg. Clearly, you had pretty decent DR. And here you are, you got in great shape, and I did the surgery. So what was the magic there? None whatsoever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was great. Hopefully people found it useful. What'll be wonderful is when they leave, they realize, wow, okay, they didn't really say anything all that earth-shattering. That's right, we did it. We basically said what everybody already knew, but it's always nice to see people who have succeeded. And that's the reason why having you on was so helpful, because if I said everything we just said without you on with us, it would have been me babbling. But with you on here, now there's no excuse because you're living proof that it's doable. So thank you very, very much. I'm happy that you look amazing.
you.
And I look forward to seeing you at your last and final follow-up.
I can't wait. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps up another episode of Plastic Surgery Uncensored. And as always, if you love the show, do me a favor. Please, please, please share it with those that you love and know. Subscribe, download, write something nice, and write a review and tell us you love us. All right, until next week, signing off, Dr. Rady Raban.
Thank you for listening to Plastic Surgery Uncensored with Dr. Rady Raban. We would love your feedback. If you enjoyed this episode or if you find our podcast helpful, tell us why. Leave us a review and make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a topic you would like for us to discuss in an upcoming episode, please reach out to us on Instagram at Dr. Rady Raban, on Facebook at Rady Raban, or at RadyRaban.com.